What if I told you laziness isn't actually laziness? Yeah, I know. Sounds like something a lazy person would say to feel better. But stay with me for a minute, because by the end of this video, you might stop blaming yourself and actually understand what's going on inside your brain. So let's start with a simple question. Have you ever had a day where you knew exactly what you had to do? Maybe study, finish homework, clean your room, but instead, you just scrolled, watched random videos, or stared at the ceiling like it was suddenly very interesting. And the worst part? That little voice in your head going, "Why am I like this?" Yeah, we've all been there. But here's the truth. Your brain is not broken. It's just doing its job. Let me explain. Your brain is designed to save energy. Thousands of years ago, humans didn't have food delivery apps or comfy beds. Survival meant hunting, running, and avoiding danger. So the brain evolved to avoid unnecessary effort. If something didn't feel urgent or rewarding, your brain basically said, let's not do that. Fast forward to today, and now your brain is using the same system, but for things like studying or doing chores. So when you choose Netflix over homework, your brain isn't being lazy. It's just choosing the easier, more rewarding option. Because guess what? Your brain loves instant rewards. Think about it. Watching a funny video? Instant happiness. Eating snacks? Instant satisfaction. Scrolling social media? Endless, tiny rewards. But studying? That's like telling your brain, hey, work hard now, and maybe feel good later. And your brain is like, how about no? This is called instant gratification, and it's one of the biggest reasons we feel lazy. But wait, it gets more interesting. Sometimes what we call laziness is actually fear. Yeah, fear. Imagine you have a big assignment. You open your book, read the first line, and suddenly feel tired. Coincidence? Not really. Your brain might be thinking, what if I fail? What if this is too hard? What if I'm not good enough? So instead of facing that uncomfortable feeling, it distracts you. Boom. You're suddenly reorganizing your desk for the third time, or watching just one more video for the next 2 hours. That's not laziness. That's avoidance. Your brain is basically trying to protect you from feeling bad. And honestly, it's kind of trying to help, just in a very unhelpful way. Now, here's another twist. Ever felt lazy even when you wanted to do something? Like you're excited to start, but your body just doesn't move. That could be mental overload. When your brain is tired, stressed, or overwhelmed, it shuts down energy for tasks. It's like your brain saying, too much going on. Let's do nothing. Think of it like your phone battery. When it's at 5%, you're not opening heavy apps. You're trying to survive. Same with your brain. So sometimes laziness is actually exhaustion in disguise. Now let's talk about motivation. Most people think, I need motivation to start. But here's the funny part. Motivation usually comes after you start. Yeah, I know. Annoying, right? It's like waiting to feel like going to the gym before going to the gym. Your brain doesn't magically give you motivation. It reacts to action. Once you start, even just a tiny bit, your brain goes, oh, we're doing this now? And then it slowly gets on board. That's why starting is the hardest part. Not because you're lazy, but because your brain is resisting effort. So what can you actually do about it? Let's keep it simple. First, shrink the task. Instead of saying, I need to study for 3 hours, say, I'll just study for 5 minutes. Your brain hears 3 hours and panics. It hears 5 minutes and goes, okay, fine. And once you start, you usually keep going. Second, remove friction. If your book is in another room, your brain will say, too much effort, so keep things ready. Make it easy to begin. Because the harder it is to start, the easier it is to quit. Third, forgive yourself. Seriously. Calling yourself lazy over and over doesn't help. It just makes your brain associate work with negativity. Instead, understand what's happening. Are you tired? Are you overwhelmed? Are you scared? Fix the real problem, not just the label. And finally, remember this. You are not lazy. You are human. Your brain is wired to seek comfort, avoid pain, and conserve energy. The problem isn't you. It's the environment, the habits, and sometimes the pressure you're under. So next time you feel lazy, don't just judge yourself. Pause for a second and ask, what's really going on here? Because once you understand your brain, you can actually work with it instead of fighting against it. And that's when things start to change. So yeah, maybe you're not lazy after all. Maybe you just needed to know the truth.